So in the last class, what is the last topic discussed? We have discussed about the basic requirements of the clustering algorithm. There we have identified some requirements like scaling. Uh, that should be the clustering algorithm should be highly scalable. It should be it should follow some constraints, cluster constraints, and high dimensionality. Like that, we have discussed some of the typical requirements for a clustering algorithm. And coming to the clustering algorithms, what are the clustering algorithms we're having? Broad categories of clustering algorithms we're having. Partitioning algorithm, partitioning clustering, hierarchical clustering. Yesterday we have discussed all those. Partitioning clustering, hierarchical clustering, and what?
Density based.
Density based, grid based, model based. Like that, we are having different kinds of clustering algorithms. We have discussed all those in the last class. And now it's time to discuss about the particular algorithm, that means in partitional clustering. What are the other under partitioning clustering? What are the specific clustering algorithms we are having? We need to discuss that. Similarly, next we need to go for hierarchical clustering and what are the specific algorithms there. Like that, we need to go. We need to discuss each and everything. We need to know that. So coming to the partitional clustering, so as the name itself indicates, it partitions the data into different partitions based on two conditions. That is, each partition should consisting of at least one item, and every item should be assigned to any of the partition. Like this, we need to partition, and after that, based on by applying some relocation principle or any kind of algorithm or any kind of method, all the elements are relocated from one partition to other partition for some for some until to achieve some particular threshold, the process is repeated. So repeatedly, all the elements among the different partitions should be relocated from one partition to another partition. So like that, the partitioning clustering generates some clusters. So in partitioning clustering, we are having k-means and k-meroid clustering algorithm. So coming to the k-means, yesterday we have discussed k-means also briefly. We got an idea regarding k-means, right? Yesterday. So in k-means, first what is the procedure? First, randomly we need to select two data items or two records. Two in the sense, if at all k is equal to two. So for k-means clustering, we need to first take the k value from the user. So first we want the k value. K indicates the number of clusters. So after we know the k value, we need to pick those many number of data objects from the given data set. If suppose the k value is 2, we need to pick two randomly two from the total data set. And we need to assume that those two are the initial cluster means, because initially we don't have any cluster. So if at all we are having a cluster, we can calculate the average of those elements, and thereby we can get the mean of the cluster. But initially we don't have any cluster with us. That's why we randomly pick one element. That means we randomly pick the k number of elements, k number of objects from the given data set, and we assume those objects as uh, means of the cluster. So if k is equal to 2, we can pick two objects, and we assume that these two objects are the cluster means. If at all it is cluster mean, what it means? We need to calculate the distance from each and every object to that mean, and which is very close to that one. All those points are fall into that particular cluster. So based on the mean, we can form the cluster. And again, what to do? Again, with the new cluster formed, we need to calculate the mean again. And again, with the new mean formed, we need to reshape the clusters again. And this process is repeated until there is no change in the mean values or there is no change in the cluster generated. This process is repeated like that. So let me share the screen so that you can get We have an algorithm for, so that we can get more about this. So here, if you consider this, so here, if you consider this here, first we need to arbitrarily this the input of the algorithm should be k. K should be provided to the process before the beginning of the process. So first we need to arbitrarily choose k objects from the data as initial sentence, which is nothing but mean. So we assume that those k objects means, and after that we need to reassign each object to that particular cluster based on the distance. So after that, based on the mean value, so here update the cluster mean. So after reassigning the clusters, after forming the clusters, we need to update the cluster mean. That means we need to find out the mean of the new cluster. So after that, again we need to reshape the clusters according to the generated mean, and this process is repeated until we find no change. So initially, if at all, let us say these are the initial clusters. That means here I have selected this particular point as mean, and here I have selected this as mean, and here I have selected this as mean. So because here in this example my k value is equal to 3. So because the k value is equal to 3, I need to select 3 points as my initial mean. And based on these 3 points, I need to form the clusters. So that is the initial clustering. That is this particular stage. And after that, what happens? After generation of the cluster, we can ignore about the random mean we have selected. We can ignore about that. Now, with, at this stage, we are having only 3 clusters. And after that, we need to find out the mean of each and every cluster. How to find out the mean means? How many number of points are there in the cluster? All these are the points in the cluster, right? So we need to calculate the average of those points, and that average is nothing but the mean of the cluster. So we suppose, for example, so here is your mean, here is your new mean, and for this cluster, this is the mean. For this cluster, here is your mean. So next, in the next step, we need to reassign the data points to the clusters based on this generated new mean. So based on this generated new mean, the data points are reassigned or reallocated to the existing 3 clusters. So if you observe here, after some number of iterations, if you observe here this particular data point, here this one, this particular data point, initially it falls in this particular cluster. Whereas in next iteration, or whereas with some number of iterations, this is fall under here. This is the final stage actually. So if you observe, after going through certain number of iterations, all these are certain number of iterations. After going through certain number of iterations, this particular point falls under this third cluster. Did you observe that? Similarly, here also, this particular point also falls under third cluster. But initially, these 2 points are falls under first cluster. Let's say this is C1 and this is C3. Like that, what happened initially? Randomly, we have formed the clusters. We have randomly selected the mean values, and based on the mean values, we have formed the clusters initially. But those are not final clusters. So we need to shape the clusters through certain number of iterations, and finally we can get the exact clusters with those many number of points. So by going through all the iterations, the mean of the cluster is updated repeatedly, and based on the mean, the cluster is also reshaped repeatedly, and this process is repeated until there is no change. And this can be explained with an example. Let us consider we have some 2-dimensional data, and this is our data. We are having 2-dimensional data. What is the shape of the data? How many points we are having? 8 rows, 2 columns we are having. X is one column and Y is another column. That means 2 attributes we are having for this data, and there are 8 number of records or 8 number of objects we are having. So to apply here, cluster the following 8 points into 3 clusters. What is the k value given? What is the k value given? Just read the line and tell me.
3, ma'am.
3. Why? Because they ask us to form 3 clusters. So in this example, k is equal to 3. Next, what is the next step we need to take? We need to randomly select 3 points, right? We need to randomly select 3 points from the given 8 points. So we need to randomly select 3 points. So we have selected, just observe this table. We have selected 3 points, 2, 10, 5, 8, and 1, 2. We are just randomly picked up those 3 points as cluster means. So these are the means of the 3 different clusters. And now what to do? Based on that mean, we need to allocate each object or each record to the particular cluster. How to do that? Mean ని బేస్ చేసుకొని మనం మిగతా పాయింట్స్ అన్నిటిని పర్టికులర్ సో అండ్ సో క్లస్టర్ కి అని చెప్పి మనం డివైడ్ చేసుకొని అసైన్ చేయాలి. ఎలా చేయొచ్చు అది?
Finding the distance and nearest mean ni same cluster lo pedtam.
Very good. So first we need to find out the distance between each and every point to the mean, and we need to assign that point to the closest mean, the cluster having the closest mean. So here we have some distance measures, as we already know that. Here we can consider the Manhattan distance measure, and we need to calculate the distance between each point and the mean, and we need to identify the closest mean. So here is an example of a sample of calculation we are having here. So here we have used this formula, Manhattan formula, and we have calculated the distance between the point 2, 10 and 5, 8. Where is 2, 10? This is the mean, and 5, 8 here. So this is the distance between the mean of the first cluster. This is cluster 1, right? This is cluster 1, this is cluster 2, and this is C3. Mean of the first cluster and the point A4. So this is the formula. This is the Manhattan formula we are having. You can also take Euclidean or Minkowski, whatever. Here in this example, we have taken that formula. So here, x2 minus x1. Here, x1, y1 is there and x2, y2 is there. x2 minus x1 in the sense 5 minus 2, and next 8 minus 10, and it results in the distance 5, right? We can place this 5 here. Like this, we need to calculate the distance between each and every point with the mean. So distance between 2, 10 and 2, 10 is 0, obviously, right? Similarly, distance between 2, 5 and 2, 10 is 5. And distance between 7, 5 and 2, 10. This is obtained as 10. You can calculate. You can have your own calculation. Similarly, we need to calculate distance between each and every point to the what? Distance between each and every point to the second mean. We need to calculate the distance. So what is the distance between these two? A1 and 5, 8. Just tell me. A1 and 5, enta?
5, ma'am.
Okay, total distance 5. I just want the calculation here. x2 minus x1. What is x2? I'm asking about this A1 and 5, 8. What is x2? Or what is x2 minus x1?
3, ma'am. x2 minus x1, 3.
Yes, 5 minus 2, right?
5.
Yes. Plus y2 minus y1.
8 minus 10.
8 minus 10. 8 minus 10 we can write, or 10 minus 8 we can write. Why? Because we are having mod here, right? There is no negative value coming out. So 3 plus 2. So this is 5. So like this, we need to calculate the distance between each and every point with the initial random mean. Okay, till now what we have done? Till now we have just calculated the distance between each and every point with the respective mean. Next, what is the next step? What is the next step? Next, what we need to identify? We need to identify, based on this obtained distances, we need to identify which point is closest to the particular mean, which point is closest to which mean, that we need to identify, right? Right or not? So here, if you observe, if you consider this point A1, this is closest to which mean? Observe these 3 points. Observe these 3 distances. This 2, 10 is closest to which mean? Mean 1 or mean 2 or mean 3?
First mean, ma'am.
First mean, because the distance is less here, right? So this is closest to the first mean. Okay. And coming to the second one, A2. It is closest to
Third mean, ma'am.
third mean. That means third mean in the sense it is closest to third cluster, right? Similarly, if you consider this 4, 9, here it is closest to, because 3, 2, 10 distance measures we are having, distance values we are having, and 2 is the lesser value. So here this is closest to this second mean, that is second cluster. So based on this, we have identified here in this last column, we have identified the respective clusters for each and every object or each and every record. So like this, here in cluster 1, we have only 1 point, 2, 10. Here in cluster 2, we are having these number of points. Here in cluster 3, we are having these number of points. So this is the first iteration, and like this, we are having some initial clusters here, right? We have some initial objects in the 3 clusters. Till now, is it clear till now?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it clear, right? So first we need to identify 3 randomly, 3 in the sense, because here k is equal to 3. So first we need to identify 3 random means, and based on that we need to form the cluster. How to form the clusters in the sense? Here is the procedure. We need to find out the distance between each and every object to the mean, selected means, and based on that distances, we need to identify the lesser distance, and based on that we can classify or we can assign the points to the respective clusters. And what is the second iteration? What is the next step to follow? Now we are having 3 clusters. Next, what to do?
Finding the mean.
Yes. Now, once we are having the cluster, we need to find out the mean for each and every cluster. Since here, if you observe in the cluster 1, there is only one object, so no need to bother regarding that, since only one object. So coming to because since we are having one object, the mean is 2, 10 only, right? So leave that. Coming to the cluster 2, now we need to find out the mean. How to calculate the mean for cluster 2? Average by sum. So we need to add all the elements and we need to take the average. And similarly for cluster 3 also. So for cluster 2, what is the mean we got? 8 plus 7 plus 8 plus 5 plus 7 plus 6 plus 4 by total number of elements 5, comma, similarly 4 plus 8 plus 5 plus 4 plus 9 by 5. We can get 6, 6. That is the mean for cluster 2. This is the mean for cluster 2. And what is the mean for cluster 3? 3 by
3/2, 7/2.
Yes, 3 by 2, 7 by 2. Whatever may be the result, that is 1.5, 3.5. That is the mean for cluster 3. So now we are we are having the new means. And next, what is the next step? We are having the new means.
మళ్ళీ కంపేర్ చేస్తాం ఐటమ్స్ క్లస్టర్
Your
Again,
voice.
distances.
Again, we need to form the new
Fine.
clusters based on this. Yes, based on this new means. How to form the new cluster in the sense? Again, the same procedure. So again, we need to find out the distance between each and every point with these obtained new means. And again, the process is repeated. So here is the distance between each and every point with the obtained new means. So this is fixed, right? We already know that. This one is fixed. And this is the obtained new one, and this is also obtained new mean. And based on this, again, we need to find out the distances. And here again we need to classify the data points into different clusters based on these obtained distances. So if you observe here, this object fall into cluster, object A1 fall into cluster 1, and this object A2 falls into cluster 3, and this falls into cluster 2, and A4 falls in cluster 2, and A5, which cluster?
Cluster 2, ma'am.
Yes, cluster 2. ఎలా ఐడెంటిఫై చేస్తున్నాం మనం? Based on the distances only, based on the obtained distances only. So similarly here we have mentioned the respective cluster numbers for each object. See, if you consider this A8, 4,9, since it have the value 3 here, lesser value is there here, it falls under cluster 1. Like this we have formed the table again, same as here in the second iteration. This is the in second iteration we have formed the same table, right? And what is the next step?
మళ్ళీ means find out చేయాలి మ్యామ్.
Again, since we are having here again 3 clusters we are having, and again we need to form the mean for each and every cluster. Just like this, just like here we have identified the cluster and cluster objects, right? Just like that, here we need to identify the cluster objects separately, and after that we need to find out the mean for each cluster, and again with the new mean we need to again reform the or reshape the clusters again, and this process is repeated until what? This process is repeated until
We get
సేమ్
the
మీన్
previous-
వచ్చే వరకు చేస్తాం మ్యామ్.
either same mean or same cluster. Either same mean or same cluster. I think both are same. We can go with any of the things. So this process is repeated until we get until the clusters are constant. The generated clusters are constant. Until there is no change in the generated clusters, we can repeat the process. Until there is no change in the obtained mean, until that you can repeat the process. So this is the way of k-means in which we can generate the cluster. So what is the last assignment I have given? I asked 21 to solve it. 21 is there? (21) is there or not in participants list? Check చేసి చెప్పండి ఒకసారి 21 ఉందా లేదా?
No ma'am, లేదు.
ఓకే, అది 21 కే ఇచ్చేసాను. 21 ఎప్పుడు వస్తే అప్పుడు అది చెప్పిద్ది. ఓకే, అండ్ here is your assignment again for 3 groups. I will ask randomly any of the group to solve that. So ఇక్కడ ఏంటి అంటే here we are with the 2 iterations only, right? We don't have the final generated clusters, we don't have here. So it is the assignment given to you that you need to go through this. You can just screenshot తీసుకోండి. You can note these points A1 to A8. You can note these points, or if you want I will clear the screen. If you want to take the screenshot, I will clear the screen. Wait. So here is the solution for 2 iterations only, right? You need to go with the remaining iterations. I don't know how many iterations you need to go. Why? Because that is not prefixed, right? You need to solve and you need to stop wherever you get the same number of same cluster values or same mean. So up to that you need to repeat the process and you need to generate the final cluster. So screenshot తీసుకోండి and come with for the next class, come with the remaining iterations and come with the finally generated clusters. Most probably is 28 is there. 28 is there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. I will ask 28 or any other.
Okay. Okay, ma'am.
I will ask 28 or any other also. I don't know. So all of you get ready with this. Nenu just like previous case, I will ask randomly one group, and they need to share the screen. Screenshot తీసుకోండి. మీ task here is a solution for two iterations. You need to go with the remaining iterations and you need to come with the finally generated cluster. And coming to the next method in the partitional clustering, that is k-medoids. This is the next method in the partitional clustering, k-medoids. So here, this is almost the same as the k-means, but what's the advantage here is that it can handle the data also. Even with the presence of noise also, it can form good clusters, whereas k-means cannot form the good clusters in the presence of noise. So that's why we have moved to the k-medoids, and it is a generalization of the k-means. And initial process is same for both k-means and k-medoids, and later it will be changed for k-medoids especially. So here first we need to randomly, just like k-means, here also we need to randomly identify the k number of data objects as medoids. Medoid is nothing but a representative of the cluster. So there, in k-means, we need to find the mean. We need to identify the mean. But here, we are not going with the mean. We are going with the cluster centers. Centers in the sense representative. So a medoid can be, a medoid is the one. A medoid is the one point in the cluster, which may have which may maintain minimum distance from all the other points of the cluster. For example, I am having points like this in the cluster. Suppose this is my cluster. So here, if suppose this particular point is there, this point maintains minimum distance with all the other points of the cluster. If suppose this is the truth. This particular point maintains minimum distance, minimum average distance to all other points in the cluster. Then that can be treated as a medoid or center of the cluster. Whereas in case of mean, that means the medoid should be one point of the cluster element. Whereas in case of mean, it should not be a point of that cluster. It should not be a point of the cluster. For example, consider the previous case. Here, what is the mean we have obtained? 6, 6. Is there any point with 6, 6 in the cluster in the data? There is no point with the 6, 6, right? Here also, what is the mean? 1.5, 3.5. Is there any point with that? Is there any record with that value? No, there is no record with that value. So mean in the sense, we are calculating the average. That calculated mean may or may not be a point of the cluster. May or may not be a data point. Whereas here, medoid is a data point. So that is a representative of the, just like in your class, you are having CR, right? Class representative. That means here will maintain average, equal communication with all the other students. Then only she can be able to become a CR. Like this here also, a medoid, if you say the point in the cluster as a medoid, it should maintain equal distance between all other, equal in the sense not exactly equal, averagely, approximately lesser distance it should maintain, not equal actually. It should maintain lesser distance between all the other points of the cluster. Then only it can be called as a medoid. So here, initially we need to, based on the k value given, suppose k value is equal to take 2, if suppose, then then we need to take randomly 2 data points as medoids. Whereas in case of k-means also, we are taking randomly 2 data points as means initially. Here we are taking 2 data points as medoids. And after that, we need to form the clusters based on the distances. Till now, there is no difference between k-means and k-medoids. So what is the initial step? We need to take the randomly k number of elements. We need to randomly take the k number of elements, and after that we need to form the clusters based on the distances. How to form the clusters? This is same way. How to form the clusters in the sense we need to calculate the distance between the midpoints and each and every point, and based on the distances we can form the clusters. So till now there is no change between k means and k midpoints. And after that, in the second iteration, that means in the next iteration, we need to again randomly select another point from the cluster as a representative. For example, here in the second iteration, suppose. So what is the first iteration? What is the first iteration? I need to take. Just wait. Okay. So in the first iteration, I need to take 2 representative points, and based on that, I need to form the clusters, right? I need to form the clusters based on that representative points. How to form the clusters, we already know that. So this is the first iteration. What is the second iteration? Here in my first iteration, this is my representative point and this is my representative point. So in the second iteration, I need to change the representative point. I need to randomly select another representative point. Whereas in case of k means, we need to calculate the mean. Based on that only, we need to reshape the clusters. But here, in second iteration also, random guess is there. In third iteration also, random guess is there. So here I need to again randomly guess one of the element or choose one of the element as the new representative of the cluster. Okay, I need to, and before closing the first iteration, I need to calculate the cost of this cluster formation. I need to calculate the cost of out of this first iteration. I need to calculate this cost of this particular cluster and cost of this particular cluster. I need to calculate the total cost. And this is the cost of first iteration. I need to find out the cost of the first iteration. And again, in the second iteration, I need to select another point as the representative. And based on this point, I again reshape the cluster. Here also, I have selected this point as my representative. So based on this point, again, I need to reshape the clusters. This reshaping is also similar to the k-means, but selection of the new representative is different. Whereas in case of k-means, that selection is not random selection. For the next iteration onwards, we need to find out the average value as the new mean there in case of k-means. But here, again in the second iteration also, we need to randomly select one of the point as the representative in the cluster. And based on this new representative, again we need to reshape the clusters. Here, how to reshape the clusters again? How to reshape the clusters again?
Distance, ma'am.
Yes, distance between
Midpoints to the points, ma'am.
midpoints in the sense new midpoints, right? New representative. Because we are already having old midpoint, but we need to ignore it. Ignore it in the sense we can ignore that this is a old midpoint. That means this point is also considered as one of the point in the cluster. There is no special thing is there regarding that. So we can ignore that this is a midpoint. We only consider this new midpoint, that means new representative, and we need to, as you said, you need to find out the distance between this particular midpoint and each and every point of the cluster. Not cluster, actually, with all others. And based on that, we need to reshape the cluster. So if at all, suppose these are the just wait a second. Is my clear? Is my voice is clear?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
that means because I am getting some warnings regarding the Bluetooth, that's why I'm asking. Like this, we are having cluster 1. The position of the data point may not change. The cluster formation, the shape of the cluster only changed here. Suppose with the whenever we take the new representative, suppose these are the new clusters formed with the new representative. Because whenever we change the middoid, the shape of the cluster is also changed based on that middoid. So again, we need to we need to calculate the cost of these two clusters, and we need to add the two costs, and we need to calculate the total cost. This is the second iteration, and this is the cost of the second iteration. Now we need to evaluate the total cost of changing the representative from this point to this point. We have changed, right? We have changed the representative, right? From this point to this point, they have changed. Thus, now we need to know, before going for the third iteration, now we need to know whether this change is good change or not. Because this is random guess. Then our guess is right or not, that we need to, that means our choice is correct or not, that we need to evaluate here. So how to evaluate this? Here they have cost 1, and here they have cost 2. We need to we need to find out the total cost of changing this representative. So that can be obtained with the C2 minus C1. If suppose the cost is here is 22, and the cost here we obtained is 20. What is C2 minus C1? That is 2, which is a positive value. If at all the cost is positive, which means that we can stop, we can end this, we can end up the process here. If at all we get the total cost as a negative value, you can proceed further. If at all you get the total cost as a negative value, total cost in the sense C2 minus C1. If at all this is a negative value, you can proceed further. That means our selection is good. You can move forward. We can swap these two. Did you get my point?
Yes, ma'am.
If we need to calculate before changing the representative, randomly guessing the representative. First, we need to calculate the total cost of that iteration. Total cost of cluster formation at that iteration initially. And after that, we need to randomly select another representative, and with that representative, we need to reform or reshape the cluster. And with the new cluster formation, again, we need to calculate the cost. That means obtained from both the clusters, and this is called as C2 since we are in second iteration. And based on the previous cost and this cost of the previous original clusters are there now. That means cost of the clusters formed with the previous representative, and based on the cost of the clusters formed with this new representative, we need to evaluate the total cost of swapping the representative elements. What we are doing here, we are swapping the representative elements. We are changing the representative elements. So we need to calculate the total cost of that shift. We are shifting that, right? So here it can be obtained with this. So if at all this is negative, if at all we get the negative value, which means that you can proceed further. That means your guess is right. You can exchange or you can swap those two representatives. If at all you are getting some positive value, which means that no need to proceed further, you can stop there like that. So it can be clearly explained by taking an example. And before that, let me explain the algorithm. Now the time is over actually. Just go through the algorithm, and I will explain these k-medoids with some example in the next class. So here we need to have initially, we need to have some set of k clusters, and next we need to choose the objects as representatives from the clusters, and after that Assign each remaining object to the cluster with the nearest representative object. This is also we know that. Randomly select a non-representative object. That means randomly we need to select another object, right? Randomly select a non-representative object, O random. Here, this is our O random and this is our O random. That means randomly we need to select something, some other object as a new representative object. Now compute the total cost S of swapping representative object OJ with O random. So we are assuming that the initial one is there now. This is OJ. We are assuming that this is OJ. Initial representative is OJ and the new representative is O random. So swapping OJ with the O random, that cost we need to identify. This is that cost. If at all that cost is, it is represented with S here. If the S is less than 0, what to do? If it is less than 0, you can swap. That means swap OJ with O random to form the new set of K representative objects. And this process is repeated until there is no change. And this is also a stopping criteria. So this process is repeated until there is no further change. So this is all about the K-Metoids method, and we'll explain. Example is also there, but I will explain that in the next class clearly. Let me take that image now. Assignment అర్థమైంది కదా, ఒకసారి మైండ్ లో పెట్టుకోండి.